Hey guys, it's Tarkin coming at you with another game of Minecraft. Really, it's just wheat. You know the drill. We're just gonna plant wheat. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna fly around. We're gonna listen to the Minecraft soundtrack. You know, that kind of thing. First, we need more seeds. You can never have enough wheat seeds. That's the thing that everybody knows about wheat. It's just one of those things. Hello, Subizi. How are you? Of course, having nice long lines of wheat to grab, it's very important, because otherwise it's a lot harder to find your seeds. You know, don't forget to replant. Don't forget to have your fortune tool when you're building your wheat field. Hey, Melissa. Yes, it has been a little while. How are you doing? Hope you've been well. You're kind of bored right now. I'm sorry. I don't know if this is going to interest you at all, because it's really just wheat here. All I do. Oh, I talk also. But yeah, I got off work not too long ago, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do for gaming. So I was like, you know what? I'll just plant some wheat. That's always nice. Because I don't have enough yet. I'll have enough someday. I'll know when I do. I just don't have enough yet. But we do have enough seeds to go plant somewhere. You have an idea? Let's hear it. Oh wait, no. We've got plenty more space for more seeds. What if I made art out of the wheat? That is a good idea. I plan to build a giant statue out of it. Out of the wheat blocks. I guess you're talking about like growing wheat, maybe like a picture, maybe? I don't know. I don't actually know what you're talking about. I don't know why I said probably. I don't know exactly what you mean. For it could be like sculpture or, you know, like planted wheat or the wheat blocks. But yeah, I have lots and lots of wheat blocks. And I'm supposed to eventually build the Temple of Wheat. Only I barely ever build anything ever. That's like all the way over there. I don't know if you know, like, the grand plan. And plus I like showing it off. But anyway, over here, where the wheat field ends, well, for now, we're gonna build the Temple of Wheat on the top of this Savannah Plateau. Oh, like a little smiley of the wheat or something? Oh, okay, yeah. That could be nice for sure. What if it was instead a frowny face? But yeah, so we're going to build the Temple of Wheat up there, and then I was thinking we'll build like a big statue out of the thing, and then like I don't know, set it on fire. I think that could be fun, you know, because really, the wheat bales are only a way of keeping score, and there's nothing less important than that. After all, the game already keeps score for you. We've used 308,000 wheat seeds and mined 81,000 of them, so, you know. Some wheat. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Anyway, and of course that's just like that half, and then we've got this half too. Which this is what I'm really proud of, right? Like this is the real good stuff. Because all of that, anybody could have planted the new field over there. But look at this. Look at the verticality on the side of this mountain. Not just anybody would have chosen to do that, you know. Oh, that sheep is ruining it. Oh no. My work, my life, ruined by one sheep. Unironically, almost happened. But I'm saving that story. I'm saving the story of why I hate sheep. You gotta hold a couple things back. It's not like a secret. I tell the story very much in my real life. Not like constantly, but, you know, whenever I think I can. But I'm making the internet wait. But it's not because they ruined my wheat field in Minecraft. It goes way back, way longer than that. And now we're amazingly, finally... Oh no, not lightning! So lightning, this is an opportunity to talk about why the wheat field even exists. Short version, I didn't know how the skeleton horseman mechanics worked. And I thought I needed to get one struck by lightning in order to replicate it. Which is, of course, not how it works. I will tell you how it works if you do not know. But it's not an important part of the story. But anyway, I didn't know and I didn't look it up. So I had my old skeleton horses that I had gotten from the previous event, and I was trying to get them struck by lightning again. So I needed something to do while I was sitting still waiting for lightning storms to happen. And I set them up little pins in places that were around, and then I started planting more wheat. 'Cause I already had like a little wheat field. Like, nothing like this. But that was... Hey, Minikman, how are you? But that was when we were still, like, all of this was more modern than that. But, because we stopped, like, halfway up the top of the mountain here, and, like, almost all of this backside of it was, like, you know, the 8th phase of it. But just the middle peninsula down by my farmhouse in the very middle where the cherry tree is, that was where, like, the first wheat field was. But we've done all of this in just about a year. And I've been doing other stuff, too. I've played so many games. Oh, it's been a wonderful year for me in gaming. I got this computer like about a year ago, and you know, I already had a computer. It was just old. It was fine. It was just old. But now I had this one, and I was like, all right, I'll have to play Minecraft for the first time. I'll play a bunch of 2D platformers. That'll be a good thing to do with a monster of a computer. And it was. But at a certain point, like early on, I just kind of liked doing it. And the fact that it's very obviously excellent and also pretty funny, it doesn't hurt at all. But I'm sort of in between games a little bit. I mean, I'm still obsessively playing Total War Warhammer 3, like always. And I got my hardcore world, which I'm not, like, bored with. I just haven't played it in a week. And, of course, there's Wheat. But I did main quest completion on Hollow Knight, and I got, like, bored with Subnautica. Which isn't the game's fault. It's a me thing. But, played a bit more Celeste, but I'm trying to look through the old Steam library and find something new. Someone suggested Path of Exile. which I've never played before. It does sound like something I would like. People have recommended it to me before, so maybe I'll give that a try one of these days. Because I always want to play more than one game at a time. Because, you know, that's good, right? It's good to have a little variety. Hey, Natasha. But I always end up just doing one thing over and over anyway. Oh well. I think it's that, you know, like always, the ideas I have for actually doing something in Minecraft are beyond my capabilities. So rather than actually, you know, enhance my capabilities, I just plant wheat about it instead. So I was like, oh, I should do that secret wall thing, and then we could maybe, you know, learn how to do like a fake bookcase or something. We could do all of that. And then I was like, no, I don't know how to do it. And then anyway, that's why we're here planting wheat today. All of those words happened inside of my head, but in a more jumbled up mess. I mean, earlier on today, whenever I decided to plant wheat instead. They also happened in my head shortly before I shared them with you. They're sort of how words work, but I don't try to think about it too much. They can get away from you sometimes, like in, you know, Alice in Wonderland. We're not even supposed to be over here. Like this isn't even part of the same continent. And yet here we are. Because we just gotta clear like all of this, obviously, because it's not wheat. Incidentally, clearing land for planting wheat is part of just wheat. You know, that's the mission statement. Just like mending the tools is. There's so much land to clear here. Of course, you do get seeds out of it, but not like a lot. It's not that many. Still, if you found a savanna, look, if you're like trying to start a wheat field, for some reason you don't already have one, like maybe you're in a hardcore world that you recently came into, or maybe you're on like a friend's Minecraft server and they don't have a wheat field yet, so you don't have enough seeds. You know, you could find one of these savannas and then get some seeds. It's a pathetic amount, it's barely any, but it would be enough to get you started. No, I don't mean to be mean. If your wheat field is more modest, that's cool, and I admire your restraint. Couldn't be me, though. I gotta have more. 'Cause when it started, you know, like, I said, like I need to defend myself. You know, it wasn't always just wheat. We had radishes and carrots and potatoes, too. But, you know, I was like a child then. This was a whole year ago. I didn't know what I was doing. But I have to play a new game next week. Not next week. This Sunday. So I'm trying to play at least one new game for like an hour or 30 minutes if my hands stop working every week, and try to do more. Humorously, if I do that, if I play one new game a week, I'll never run out of games. I'll just have too many forever. Because I actually get 2 games a week from the subscription that I use. And that is why I have so many Steam games. And I don't know which of them are good and which ones aren't. I don't even know what I have. I just, like, I scroll through sometimes, and sometimes I'll be like, oh, that sounds interesting, and then I don't play it. Last week I tried out Metal Hellsinger, and it was very cool. It was the coolest, but my hands couldn't do it. It needed very repetitive button pressing, and it was too much for me. But it was still a wonderful game, and I listened to the soundtrack actually the other day, and it was pretty sick. It was awesome. I like metal. I'm not like a huge metal aficionado compared to metalheads, but like, you know, I have a favorite Opeth album. It's Orchid, you know, that kind of thing. But I thought it was good. But maybe I can get like I can get like a list of my Steam library and inject it into a randomizer, and then figure out what to play without choosing. At least one game that I don't know anything about that I own has got to be like super awesome. It just has to be. I just don't know which one it is. But instead of trying to find out, I'm here planting wheat. After all, this is where I want to be. Today at work, I don't know, like, I don't know how much of an old man I'm turned into, right? I was wondering about this. Like, cause it's hot, right? It's summer. Obviously, I complain about it all the time. I work in a restaurant. It's very hot. It's very hot. But like, what am I going to complain about when it's not that hot anymore? Am I just going to replace it with something else? Am I that old of an old man now? I hope not. I hope I complain about something that's not the weather in like 2 months. Or that I find a lottery ticket on the road and it solves all my problems. Because that's the problem with being me, right, is I don't believe in playing the lottery because I'm not like good at math, but I can do arithmetic. So I won't like, I don't gamble. I won't like buy a lottery ticket. You know, I don't believe in it. I don't think people shouldn't, except in like the general like intellectual way. But I digress. So to win the lottery, I would also have to like find a ticket, and it would have to win because I won't buy one. So my lottery daydreams are like very reasonable. Natasha, you were saying with the game thing, you have the same problem. So many games you buy in promo and never even download. Yeah, you know, I think I have more than 1,000 games now. That's the thing, is like, it's very affordable. My humble little, the price went up the other month, which, you know, no one likes that, but, you know, what are you gonna do? It's still just like, I think 13, yeah, like, it's like $13 a month, and I get 8 games. So, and that, like, the Steam keys for games. And then, like, you know, you can give them away if you already have it or something. And You know, I'm just a fan of Humble Bundle. They definitely are the vast bulk of my Steam library. And that's also why, because it's 8 games a month, that's also why, even if I play one new game a week, I'll never ever catch up. I mean, I could cancel the subscription. Not going to. Humble Bundle is responsible for the single greatest game recommendation slash thing going into my library that's ever happened to me, which is Total War Warhammer. That game, like, actually changed the way that I spent my time. But it's funny how a game recommendation or like a free key showing up somewhere or like a free weekend or even just someone telling you to check something out and then doing it can, like, you know, because, you know, we talk about like a Steam library, and as I've mentioned many times, you know, I worked in libraries whenever I was in high school and then also in college, and I love books and libraries very much. But, you know, the game library is a similar concept there, right? Because in a library is access to knowledge and art and the heights of human achievement, but it's also too much for any person to absorb all of. Like, part of the wonder of the library is knowing that even if you dedicated your life to the study of the library, you would merely know where the stuff in the library is, and that there's more than you can do in a lifetime. More knowledge, more art, more poetry in the world than there are hours in which to read it. And that's why I like having more Steam games all the time, even if I can't play them. I mean, I'll play them someday. But now my library is too big that if they give like a free weekend, I wouldn't see it. Because that's how I played Mountain Blade Warband, which was like one of the big video games of my whole life. Because there's plenty of games that I loved whenever I was growing up, right? Like, if anything, I was much more of a varied gamer, like when I was a child, because of the social dynamics of gaming in that era, right? Like, I loved JRPGs. Oh, well, now this is happening. So I love JRPGs, but, you know, if your siblings are around, you have to take turns or whatever, then you gotta play other stuff. And, you know, if you're hanging out with one of your friends and he wants to play, you know, the hockey game you have, then you play that. But now I mainly game by myself. And so, like, a game recommendation, because again, like, I sometimes play games with like my real life friends, but not that much. I'm very bad at scheduling things. JRPG taking turns is miserable. Yeah, my best friend in like middle school and junior high, and beyond for a bit. But in that era, when we were younger, there we had the most fun. I know I've told the story before, but so there's the Super Game Boy, which was a Nintendo emulator that plugged into the Super Nintendo, and then you plugged in your cartridge, your Game Boy cartridge, into that cart, and then you could play your Game Boy on the screen. So my friend and I would play Pokemon Gen 1. I had red and he had blue, so we would start like a new file at the beginning of a weekend, and we would stay up, and then like every now and then we would save and swap. So the person playing on the Game Boy could go to the TV, and the person that was playing on the Game Boy could like watch them, more, and then because on a TV you could see more of it. You wouldn't have to be like over someone's shoulder just playing on two Game Boys. It was like also one person like had the narrative value of the television. But yeah, and that was the thing too with the JRPG stuff. So I would always want to play my favorite games, but when you're like 6, you sort of have to do what you're told most of the time. And if you wake up in the middle of the night and sneak in there to try to play it, you'll probably get caught because you're a child and not very sneaky. But there's a lot of kinds of games that I just like don't play at all anymore. But I like when I think about it, I used to play a lot. Like I haven't played a racing game in ages, but one of my best friend loved racing games, and we used to play constantly. Like I would play Gran Turismo like it was an RPG, and I was like the manager, right? And he would race. That sometimes every now and then I would do a couple of races, but I would just be like, I would be doing all of the money managing and being like, no, we need to get this car so that we can do the rally circuit. That's gonna pay off in like 3 hours. I'm like, no, we're gonna get this going on. It was like Gran Turismo manager simulator for me. That would, of course, been the first Gran Turismo. I am an old person. I'm sure they still make them. You say that's how you always play FIFA? Nice. Yeah, my favorite sports game would have been NCAA football, American football, of course. NCAA football. It would have been 2K3, I think it was. I think that was the number on it, but I call it my favorite sports game. Can't remember the number, but it was like a college one, and you could like basically you were the coach, so you could move around to different schools. You weren't the player, and I would spend just so much time like making my program reputable and auto-resolving all of the games, and just like trying to get good stats for my players, because you could go places, and the better you were, then you could recruit new people and get more attention for it and stuff. And of course, this was in the old era of American college sports, when there wasn't open bribery. Sorry, name, image, and likeness deals. I'm always making this mistake. Incidentally, in a Kurt Vonnegut book that came out in like the early 60s, I want to say, maybe the late 50s, called Play Your Piano, one of his little dystopian things he had for that society was that they had college sports that were played for money professionally, and but they were still called college sports, and that they had these guys that just like played in them for years and years and years. But, Melissa, you asked what I think about what's going on in Minecraft. I've only played for, like, a year and 3 months now. No, a year and 2 months. Probably exactly on the dot, right? So, just a mere 430 days of human time or so. But basically everything that's come in since I began, I just thought was awesome. The happy guests are great. the cold pig, warm pig, and the like all that's real good too. The additional discs, I mean the happy gas. I'm not putting enough stress on how awesome I think they are, but yeah, and then everything I've seen, which isn't a lot, I haven't looked that far into it, but just like, you know, the highlights of like what they have coming up seems cool too. I loved the wildflowers update, you know. The leaves falling from trees is fine. I like it a lot for some things. Like acacia and oak and birch and all that, good. I am not wild about it on spruce, but what are you gonna do? The cherry tree particle is, of course, awesome, but that one already existed. Because, yeah, the thing that changed my life most was the happy gas coming into the coming into the world. Because I became enamored with them, and then it changed a whole lot of my hardcore play. But yeah, I don't really have a perspective, of course, beyond the very, very recent past, so... It's more... For me, it's more like, did anything actively antagonize me, or did I feel like it was, like, a definite poor choice? The other day, the Lava Chicken music disc, Natasha, you mentioned that, you know, you and others, you know, you didn't like the inclusion, and I think I'm coming around to that. Not because it's not fine, but they could have, you know, somebody could have modded it in or whatever, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. All the other discs do, right? Because all the other ones, you know, it's very close to just being a product placement. But I guess, you know, because I would have come in only in the modern era, I wouldn't have even seen this as a game that would be immune to that kind of thing, you know. I see Minecraft swords in the background of YouTube videos and, like, you know, refrigerators shaped like creepers and stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with merchandising. I think it's fine. But I guess it just didn't, like, surprise me that there would be, like, a movie to game tie-in. Yeah, like an April Fool's thing, that would have been totally fine. And obviously, once it was there, the file would be there, and if people wanted it, it would be an easy mod add-in. I'm sure, without looking, I'm sure that there's like a ton of custom discs, because it would be easy, right, to attach like a sound file trigger. I say it would be easy. I don't know anything about computers. I just think it would probably be easy to even just without being told to look into whatever that disc points at and find it. Maybe it would be a lot harder than that. Maybe it's super difficult, but that's the problem. The only game I ever modded, like personally changed stuff in modding, was Mountain Blade Warband, which was literally just in a notepad text editor moving numbers and words around until I got what I wanted without understanding what I was doing most of the time. But just putting it together based on like context and stuff, you know. The note file, the WordPad file was called, you know, weapons, so I knew the weapons were there and they had names, but I just had to figure out what all the numbers were and whether or not the spaces mattered. Spoiler, they did. You could ruin the whole game by forgetting to have one space in the right place, which is probably how computers do work. But again, I don't know anything about that. I miss playing Warband. I had good times doing that. I mean, sure, I could play it again, but you can never really go back, right? Maybe I could. I would have these awesome campaigns where I would be telling great stories to myself about what was going on. Just like really having a time. Assembling a crew of heroes and getting steadily better horses and gear and wealth, and then, you know, taking the best castles, holding them against impossible odds. And then abandoning the playthrough every time a new version of the mod came out, as is tradition. Maybe I could play the vanilla version. You know, I have almost 1900 hours into Warband, and I have played, I think, 30 minutes of the vanilla game. And everything else I've done has been like a total conversion mod. I don't even know the names of the factions. I don't know a name of a single faction in the actual game. I don't know what they look like. I don't know what their identities are. I don't know what the map looks like. I got it for free from Steam. I loaded in and I did like some combat in a training camp, and I thought it was the greatest thing I'd ever played. And then I was talking with people about it, and before I even did anything else, they had put me on to this Game of Thrones mod that existed. And well, the rest was history. Documented YouTube history. This channel. for like 800 videos, all I played was Warband. No, maybe not that many. I didn't count. But now it's just wheat. No. That would be sad. It would be sad to only plant wheat for the rest of my life. I just want to also plant wheat for the rest of my life. I'd be like just so resentful if I were to be struck by a bolt of lightning or something, and I wouldn't be able to come here and plant wheat. That's the thing about life, though, is very often bad luck just happens. And even though you're minding your own business, just waiting for it to not be so hot outside, something will happen and you just won't get to plant wheat anymore. But until it happens to me, I'm gonna try not to worry about it too much. And just like that, we're almost out of seeds again. And you know what that means? It's time to go and acquire more seeds. The acquisition of seeds, of course, a very important part of the process, as is throwing this stuff into the water and hopefully not picking it up again. You know, it's starting nice, starting out nicely. What's the opposite of unhinged? Hinged? Here is my perfectly hinged wheat field. Oh, exactly. Yeah, Natasha. Yeah, I'll just need to let it pass through me. I'll just point in one direction or the other one, and then it'll be fine. I have this urge whenever somebody tells me, as it happens sometimes, you know, they're like, oh, I've been struck by lightning. I always want to be like, do you know what you did? But, you know, it's too judgmental. Because maybe they do know what they did and they don't want to talk about it. And of course, we live in the land of wheat and perpetual sunrise. I wonder if there's a version of that song without all the words. It's probably rude. Probably rude to ask. Like, hey, this art you made, do you have it with a fundamentally different character and identity? I mean, I wouldn't say it to their face. I'd be like, hey, Alpha is the best song. It's very Minecraft. Is that what the song is? I never know. I love Alpha so much. Every time I realize that it's the song I'm listening to, I'm like, oh boy. Because, you know, it sounds just like a bunch of other ones. And I'm always listening on random, so I never know when we're going to get it. But could be this one. And then like at like minute 3, I'm like, oh, it is. I am confused by the presence of this golem. I think he's been there a bit, though. We'll just leave him. See, I imagine if the alpha in Minecraft is the original length, you don't remember it ever playing full game. Someone told me that it's like what plays in the credits. Like after you beat the Ender Dragon or whatever. So the final... Oh wait, where's my sword? Oh no. Alright, we probably have our sword over there. Or here? Maybe here. If only, yeah, here we go. I'm like, if only I had a dedicated place to keep my stuff, like a house. I mean, to be fair though, this place, all of the chests are just outside of the house, but that's still a place to keep them. We could even put it in the one chest inside of the house. But of course, here we are at the Field of 1,000 Cows. Right now, it is 1776. How auspicious. A very America amount of cows. Well, you know what happens next. Fire and sword. In that order. No, not fire. After all, we need... Oh no, they're getting away! That's of course intolerable. Oh yeah, we don't have... Once again, I have chosen poorly. Alright, there's not any more space for that junk. Okay, we're just gonna have to... We'll deal with it. Maybe I'll even build another box to keep all of the meat in. Alright, we're just leveling up there because we don't even have the offhand there. Wasting all of these cows away. But of course, with a little bit of patience, all you have to do is wait and the cows will come to you. Should make one of these in your server, another 13-year server. No, don't do that. This is a lot. I don't know. One of my friends was telling me, they're like, oh yeah, like you just get banned if you tried to build something like that where I play. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, because you know, the lag and stuff. They're like, they'd probably think you were doing it on purpose to mess with people. I'm like, no, that's just how many cows I want, man. Alright, do I have any wood? Yes, good. Well, you know what that means. It's time for another double chest. And you know, we can keep that next to all the other chests full of the beef. We're gonna put the sword here, which is a much better spot for it. Oh, I don't have an axe, and we can't. Oh. Well, we'll have to come and fix that oxidation some other time then. Alright, let's not knock it down. So this is a 4-block sugarcane thing. You can build them, but they generate in the world with 4 sometimes. They'll never grow that tall, though. That's my one sugarcane fact. No, that's my one Minecraft sugarcane fact. I know a lot of sugarcane facts. We're not gonna talk about them, though. Everything I know about sugarcane is horrifying. A llama? He's supposed to be dead! The trader, the wandering trader moving through your wheat field, the trader with llamas. The pickaxe for that trader? It is nice to plant wheat here, though. Because you look over and you get to see, you know, you get to see the achievement in the distance. It's like planting that little plains there at the base of Wheat Mountain. There in Wheat Park, that was always fun, because you could look up and see a tiny portion of the wheat field. Like, is this alpha? The chimes and the song are ringing right here at midnight. Well, yeah, not a bad little expansion. But yeah, there we go. Another day in the bank. Set them up and knock them down. But well, that's all I've got for you today. Here's this meditation of Marcus Aurelius I wanted to share with you. It's the one that I flipped through earlier and again here. So this is in book 6, number 11, and I try to take this one to heart. It goes like this. When jarred unavoidably by circumstances, revert at once to yourself, and don't lose the rhythm more than you can help. You'll have a better grasp of the harmony if you keep on going back to it. Hard to remember. Good advice. But anyway, that's all I've got for you today. It's a nice little field, you know. It's always nice to know I can come back to it. Anyway, life is very long. I'm sure I'll be coming back to this field as often as I can. But anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Good night, Natasha. Good night, Minikman. Good night, Melissa. Good night, Subeasy. It's nice to see all of you here for the wheat field and in Minecraft ramblings and music and such. But anyway, I'm going to bed. Perhaps I'll see you guys in a later stream or video. You know, I'll probably be back on in 8 or 9 hours. I gotta work. You know the general thing. I work on the weekends, but anyway, I'll be around. As long as I can be, I will.